Hi, and welcome back to Milgat Farms. We're glad to have you here today. We're talking about our water situation here on the farm. We've got some problems, and I'm kind of at a loss. I don't even know how to explain it, but let me give it a try. Right up there in that draw is a tank. That tank services our cottage, our red barn, and the overflow services our animals. So whenever that tank is completely full, our animals get water. When the tank's not completely full, we pull from other sources on the farm to include our well and a spring on the other side of the farm. Lately, the water's been doing some really weird things, and I'm having trouble figuring it out. We've had trouble with our water in the cottage all summer long. We've been in a drought, so we lost water, so therefore we didn't have any water at all. But as we have thought about it, and I'm thinking out loud in my head, obviously I'm messing this up, but we may have had a leak a lot longer than I'm thinking. Over the last couple of days, we haven't had anybody in the cottage, and so we haven't had any need for water down below, but we have had a need for water for our animals. And typically when there's nobody in the cottage, the water builds up, overflows, and I don't have to move any water. But it didn't happen. And as a result, it got me thinking, I need to go look in the water tank. So that's what we're gonna go do. We're gonna look in that water tank, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you look all the way to the other side, you should be able to see the overflow pipe. One of the challenges we were facing before was the leak was so great that it was drawing down this tank. And when it drew down the tank, we didn't have enough water for our guests. So a real quick overview of the system. We have a collection point that's right up there. It sends water into this tank that I'm standing on, and this point is the reservoir for the red barn and the cottage down below, which are, you see them way down there? The difference in the elevation produces the water pressure. And down there, we've got about 50 to 60 PSI. It's really good water pressure. When this tank doesn't fill all the way up, we don't get the overflow. And when we don't have the overflow, we don't feed our animals from the tank itself. We like to feed them with the overflow. That way, the guests have all the water they possibly could use. If you look right down there, you're gonna see two water troughs, and there's the tote. What we did was we shut off the water at the valves right here, which shut the water off completely to the lower part of the farm. That includes the B&B and the red barn. No more water is going down there. As a result, the water backed up, or it stopped here, and the overflow started going into the tank, which was great. If that valve right there isolated from here all the way up there, then we know, especially if water overflowed into the tank, that we don't have any leaks between here and there, which we did not. However, when we opened up the valve here the other day to see if we could water the cottage and the red barn, it wasn't filling fast enough. Something was wrong, and I wasn't sure what was happening. So I isolated the cottage and the red barn. And when I did that, the only water that was on were for the hydrants. I think I figured out the problem. It may be one of two hydrants. We have three on the farm, and I took one apart that I just couldn't get adjusted the way I wanted it. And the plunger on the bottom seemed a little weird to me. So I went down to our co-op, I got a new rebuild kit, or a new plunger in that rebuild kit, and that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna rebuild the head of this thing, reinstall it, turn on the water, and let's see if it holds. That's not gonna work so well. Let me figure that, don't go anywhere. You ever do something kind of silly and you think to yourself, why did I do that? Or how did I not notice? Well, that was a problem I had when I filmed the other day. So I made a really big mistake when I was filming my video the other day for my hydrant. And what happened was I did the entire thing that you may be watching right now in time lapse. It was terrible. I got everything done in my video, and I went to the part where I went to rebuild this, and it's in time lapse. And at that, it's a terrible time lapse. This is a Woodford kit. I got it at the co-op. It's even got a diagram on it. No instructions, just a picture. My kind of instructions, I really like it. It's super, super easy to install. I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. So there's the diagram right there. It's super easy to follow. You've only got 4 or 5 items in there. One is the rod, which is right here. that goes in here, and this nut is gonna cinch it down. You've got a compression fitting, so it's gonna look like this. Now I got my hands all full. That compression fitting is gonna go inside of here. The rod is gonna slide up and down in it. Now, you've got something else that's kind of cool. This is like a graphite packing. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna fit on the end just like this. Now, don't forget, you got a washer too. You'll put your washer on, and then what's gonna happen is you're gonna slide this entire assembly right into here. Of course, you gotta take this off to do it. Raise your handle up, take this one out. Then you're gonna put all this right down into there. And what that's gonna do is this is going to screw down and it's gonna bite this brass rod. It's really cool how it works. Now, mind you, you've probably already taken it apart and you've got this part. This is the plunger. On the old one, you could see the tip that was coming out. So I felt like that, I knew that was what it was. It was leaking. So this one, brand new. And this has a rod inside of it. You've got to take this off the rod, and then you're gonna connect, whoops, almost lost it. You're gonna connect this to the top of the rod, this to the bottom of the rod, something like that, just like the picture shows. And then that's almost a rebuild. Now, mind you, this is down pretty far, and this is only right here. But these are all the parts you need to rebuild this thing. What's going to be hateful is getting this off of this. You want to make sure you do not twist this right here, or you're going to break it in the ground. That's a much bigger problem. That's a lot of digging. What you're going to want to do is leave everything in here connected. This is going to come out. There's going to be a rod dangling in here. As long as that rod is not bent, you don't have to replace it. All you have to do is replace this guy here and the plunger on the end. But make sure you keep everything here together so that you can hold this while you unscrew the rod from that rod right there. I know we got a little bit of wind here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. This is the hydrant itself. It's actually in the ground probably 3 foot. And this is going to screw right on down on top of it. But first, let's get our Teflon tape on it. You don't necessarily need pipe tape because these pipe threads would seal themselves. But I feel like a little bit of help is not a bad thing. We're in the ground from this distance to this distance. That's about 30 inches. Around here, that's enough. It works. We haven't had any frozen pipes. When I was trying to figure this out, I was losing my mind. I couldn't understand where the water could be going. Did I have a leak in the toilet? Which, guess what I do? There we go. Now, start screwing it down. I don't have to take the fence board off. I'm okay moving it just a little bit out to get this in. If not, I would have taken the fence board off, but I think we're gonna be okay. Now, the last thing I want to do is to twist this pipe in the ground. If I do that, highly likely that I'm going to break the pipe in the ground, then we're really going to have a leak. Okay, that's hateful. Okay. See right there? I'm not sure what kind of jet that is, but they're here quite frequently. There's 2 of them. What they'll do is they get to the next valley behind us and they hop down in there and come screaming through there. Then they pop out, bank hard left at Warm Springs, and head back home. The next thing we need to do is turn on the water, and then we're gonna test everything. I'm gonna take you up and show you what that looks like. If you look down in there, you should be able to see where the turnoff or the shutoff valve is for the water. In fact, let me show you down here. Can you see down in there? It's just like that one you see down in there. Put a much narrower pipe. We gotta turn this water on, then we can go down and check it. So I didn't have a water key. I've been using all sorts of different things to make it work. But I figured out that I could just take a piece of pipe, which I did. I trimmed it, I welded it, and now I got a water key. At least that's what I call it. I'm just gonna set it right down on top. There we go, nope. This is very similar to what you'd have on your house, except we don't have a meter. It just comes right out of the tank. There we go. I can hear it. Okay, so that means the water's on. Let's head back down and see what it looks like. We're gonna raise it up.
Okay, that thing.
All right, there's a lot of water in there. Now, what we do have, let me show you. All right, you see what we got coming out? A little bit of water. Not really a big deal. We don't wanna waste it, so let's go ahead and tighten it up a little bit. So as I begin to tighten this down, I'm gonna feel it going tighter, if you will, or it's compressing the packing down, and it's going to the outside around the brass rod. And I'm not gonna wedge it in there so hard that I can't move the brass up and down. That's probably not gonna happen. A little bit of water coming out, not a lot. So we'll tighten it just a little bit more. A little bit. Now I may have to adjust that from time to time, but for right now, it's a little hot, it's harder, but it's definitely sealing. Now we have to wait. Since we've opened up the water valve up above, everything down here now has the ability to have water. So, and I've just bled this out, which means there's water now coming all the way to this point. I'm gonna wait about an hour, or maybe a little bit more, and then we're gonna go up and take a look at that tank again to see if water's coming back in. Last night it wasn't coming back in, and what I think was happening was this wasn't sealed all the way to the bottom, and as a result, water was coming through this and just ended up in the ground somewhere down there in the trench that was originally done when the water was set up here.
1 hour later.
Daddy, you know what I was looking at?
What you're looking at? The chicken? You're easy predictable. Very predictable. Come on.
I was looking at that lamp thing.
The what?
The lamp thing to open to put the lamp nails on. To get that lamp nails on.
Okay. If you look down in here, we don't have any water yet. It's been about an hour. I'm gonna give it another hour, and then I'm gonna have to go down and rebuild the other valve. Currently the house is still off, so is the red barn. So we're down to one valve. This may come back, it may not come back, because we did take a little bit of water out when we were installing it. So we're gonna give it about another hour, and then we'll see if we got water coming in. What are you little guys doing? What's up, Neko? Huh? Now I'm not gonna say that's coming in super fast, but it's still coming in. What we're gonna do next is turn on the cottage and then see what it does then. So we have water coming in the tank. That tells me that we don't have a leak, or if we do, it's a small leak because it's backed up enough in order to keep coming out of the overflow. That's a good thing. I'm gonna head down to the cottage and I'm gonna turn the water on in the cottage, and then we're gonna wait a couple hours and see what it does. Maybe there's a leak in the cottage still, maybe not, I don't know. But we're gonna isolate one thing at a time. Right now, water's all the way down to the hydrants and it's working. So we'll turn the cottage on, and then if it works, then we'll turn the red barn on, and then we should know whether or not we've got any more leaks. That was kind of complicated, wasn't it? I probably could have said that a lot easier. What's up, little girl? How you doing? Neko, you need some loving? Everybody, this is Neko. Hi, Neko. What you doing, monster? Neko is Mr. and Miss Ward's pet steer. We keep him on our farm because they don't have any cows over there for him to hang out with. Right, Neko? Come here, you want to do a big kiss? Kiss the camera. Mwah. I got you, didn't I? See ya. These are our cow calves right here. We have, there's the bull. That's Biscuit. He can be testy at times, but he's a good bull. We started a very small, I'm talking micro small, cow-calf operation a few years ago. And the last couple of calves that we've gotten off the farm, oh, you can see me now, or I can see you. The last couple of calves we used for meat. These are all heifers, and we're not gonna use them for meat. We're gonna grow our herd to about 15 cows. Once we get to that point, then the whole thing can be really self-sustaining. But at this point, with just 3 or 4, you don't make big money. You can make something, but not big money. I think when you get to like 10 or 15, then you can start making a little bit of money on those animals. It's towards, whew, it's getting chilly. Ooh, got my collar up. It's towards the end of the day. I got my orange hat back on. I usually wear my other hat when I've got meetings because it's got Milgat Farms written across it. And all my other Milgat Farms hats are destroyed. That's my old body shop hat, check it out. Connor Brothers Collision Centers. Loved doing that, I really did. But I tell you, doing maple syrup now, it's a lot of fun. So here we are towards the end of the day, and I set this up so we could fill up the waterers for the animals. That right there, that's a good flow. That is a very good flow. Now what's gonna happen, it's gonna keep coming out, it's gonna flow over into here. Now that's weird. Why would it do that? That is truly weird. Did you see that? It slowed down, it stopped, then it kept on going. That is odd. Look, there it goes again. Why do you think it's doing that? There's nothing on down below. Huh. What's gonna happen, that pipe is gonna bleed it over into here. They're both gonna fill up tonight. And then we're gonna take this line right here, put it back up in there and make sure that gets full too. So this time of the year, we do have water coming in, albeit it's not a lot of water, so I am very concerned. We wanna store as much water as we can so that in case this really gets slow, we've got at least 2 to 3 days worth of water in that tank that'll get us by. So at this point, I've got water going down to the barn, which is the red barn down there, and the cottage, and all 3 waterers. Now, the way I figured it out was I shut the water off to the cottage and the barn, but the 3 hydrants still had water coming to them. And so last night, that tank did not fill up at all. In fact, we had no overflow coming in. So I took that one apart this morning. When I did, I felt like there was a problem. I contacted our plumber. He's ordered some parts, but I happened to go by the co-op and they had it in stock, which is surprising. I'm excited. So I'm still gonna get them from our plumber friend and have them on stock or in stock or on the shelf just in case we have a problem in the future. I only had to rebuild one of them because one of them just did not want to adjust. That being said, got it done. Now everything's got water. Well, let me say everything's got water going downstream. This right here has got overflow, so I think our problem is solved. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch the video. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoy them as much as we enjoy making them for you. Do consider giving us that thumbs up. It means a lot to us. And until next time, God bless you.